Merry meet, that's better. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Amherst. I'm Reverend Michelle Buhite, and I'm the minister of this congregation. My pronouns, which I offer to create a truly inclusive and brave space for all to live into the fullness of their identities, are she and her. As you came in this morning, perhaps you noticed the round table at the back of the chapel. That is our morning altar space, and I invite you to add elements. There are some elements on the table adjacent to it, oh good, it stopped snowing. That was the world's shortest snowstorm, so that was great. So you might want to go outside and get some beautiful leaves and add them to the altar, but do participate. It's a thing that is unique each week, depending on what we choose to put upon it. As Unitarian Universalists, we are people of the wide path, engaging in a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and then coming together to make a difference. We're so glad that you've chosen to be here today. Virtually, we see you, and in person. Throughout the month of November, we are exploring the topic of change. And today, we are changing our minds about money. So for those of you who feel like every time I come to church, she's talking about money, today is one of those days. So just put on your little invisible hard hat. It's going to be okay. We can get through this together because we're going to change our minds about money. So for those in the chapel, I invite you to place your phones on reverence mode. And that's kind of cute and churchy, isn't it? So what I really want you to do is put your phones on airplane mode. That's going to help us with the live stream because we have, our signal can be wonky, and if there's a lot of phones drawing, then it gets wonkier. So I invite you to go all the way into your settings and choose airplane mode. You'll get through the service, I promise. As soon as we're done, you can put it back on. Isn't it funny how we are with our phones? We are a beloved community, a gathering of people who have chosen to journey together and to encourage one another and to be part of something important and life-changing. Because we aspire to be such a people, we make bold promises about how we will strive to be with one another. So on the screen right now is our congregational covenant that this congregation wove together in 2016. It was our second big thing that we did together. No, it was our first big thing we did together, was creating this covenant. So I invite you to join me in speaking our covenant together. Together we promise to gather in compassionate community, to celebrate diversity of thought and unity of spirit, and to seek wholeness for ourselves, our children, and our world. As we gather, we acknowledge that our church is built on occupied land. So, Ellen is figuring out airplane mode. Would you like to come up and do the land acknowledgement? Thank you. So we acknowledge that our church is built on occupied land. That land was nurtured and cherished by the First Nations people of this area, known as the Haudenosaunee, and the Neutrals before them. We offer this libation as a giveaway, a way of saying thank you and of showing our respect for the deep connection to the land. May we be good stewards of the land and courageously cultivate community with all living things. Our song of intention this morning is "We Are Not Our Own," and I'm going to invite you to sing along with the video, which we know is clunky. Let's just all get rid of that anxiety. It's so hard to do. You sing to the radio all the time. So lighten up. This just requires a hymnal if you want to sing along with the words. So it's 317 in the gray hymnal. Let me get mine as I disappear for a moment. We are not our own, 317. And we will sing along, and I don't think that there's a piano break in the middle of it, but if so, you might end up singing a solo, so just pay attention. Stand as you are willing and able.
We are not our own. Earth forms us.
Can we turn up the volume?
Human leaves on nature's growing vine. Fruit of many generations. Seeds of life divine. We are not alone. Earth names us, past and present peoples, near and far. Family and friends and strangers, showing who we are. Let us make thanksgiving, and with justice willing and aware, give to earth and all things living liturgies of care. Let us be a house of welcome, living stone upholding living stone, gladly showing all our neighbors we are not our own.
You may be seated. It is our custom when we gather to light a chalice, the symbol of our faith, that represents the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. I offer these words as we light the chalice. We gather around this flame that symbolizes the truth we know and the truth we seek, the community we share and the community we aspire to, the learning that enables us and the mystery that encompasses. Here we speak the languages of memory and hope. Here we are welcomed, our journeys embraced and shared. Thank you, Ellen. Each of us carries with us into this time our cares, concerns, joys, and sorrows. Together we create the container where we can put down our burdens and know that they are held gently by this gathered community. For those joining virtually, I invite you to speak aloud those cares that you bring with you, or perhaps write them into the chat in the live stream. For those here in the chapel, I invite you to come forward and place a stone or shell on the table labyrinth up front in recognition of that which is in your heart. I invite you to come forward. is to take a few breaths and consider those who are not with us in this space. Holding in our hearts those who are ill, those who are in pain, either in body or spirit, those who are lonely. We hold all of this, knowing that we are part of a web of life that extends and connects us to the universe and to one another. We are grateful for the mystery of consciousness that we share, the consciousness that weaves us together. Please join me in singing Spirit of Life. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. It's time for our Time for All Ages, and it is a video story, and it's pretty great. And I think it'll be familiar to many of you, because it's a well-loved among many generations story. So I'm not saying it's old, but it's been well-loved for generations.
The Little Red Hen, a Folktale Classic by Paul Galdone. Once upon a time, a cat and a dog and a mouse and a little red hen all lived together in a cozy little house. The cat liked to sleep all day on the soft couch. The dog liked to nap all day on the sunny back porch. And the mouse liked to snooze all day in the warm chair by the fireside. So the little red hen had to do all the housework. She cooked the meals and washed the dishes and made the beds. She swept the floor and washed the windows and mended the clothes. She raked the leaves and mowed the grass and hoed the garden. One day when she was hoeing the garden, she found some grains of wheat. "Who will plant this wheat?" cried the little red hen. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. "Then I will," said the little red hen. And she did. Each morning, the little red hen watered the wheat and pulled the weeds. Soon, the wheat pushed through the ground and began to grow tall. When the wheat was ripe, the little red hen asked, "Who will cut this wheat?" "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Not I," said the mouse. Then I will, said the little red hen, and she did. When the wheat was all cut, the little red hen asked, Now, who will take this wheat to the mill to be ground into flour? Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the dog. Not I, said the mouse. Then I will, said the little red hen, and she did. The little red hen returned from the mill carrying a small bag of fine white flour. Who will make a cake from this fine white flour? Asked the little red hen. Not I, said the cat. Not I, said the dog. Not I, said the mouse. Then I will, said the little red hen, and she did. She gathered sticks and made a fire in the stove. Then she took milk and sugar and eggs and butter and mixed them in a big bowl with the fine white flour. When the oven was hot, she poured the cake batter into a shining pan and put it in the oven. Soon, a delicious smell filled the cozy little house. The cat got off the soft couch and strolled into the kitchen. The dog got up from the sunny back porch and came into the kitchen. The mouse jumped down from his warm chair and scampered into the kitchen. The little red hen was just taking a beautiful cake out of the oven. Who will eat this cake? Asked the little red hen. I will, cried the cat. I will, cried the dog. I will, cried the mouse. But the little red hen said, All by myself I planted the wheat, I tended the wheat, I cut the wheat, I took the wheat to the mill to be ground into flour. All by myself I gathered the sticks, I built the fire, I mixed the cake, and all by myself I am going to eat it. And so she did, to the very last crumb. After that, whenever there was work to be done, the little red hen had 3 very eager helpers.
Oh, goodness. The power of stories. I'm a little red hen. Although I never get to that part where the hen refuses to share the cake and eats it in front of her roommates, I admire the hen's crafty way of creating a desire in the hearts of her roommates to participate in the care and keeping of their little home. If only it were that easy. Anyone here a little red hen? Yeah, I see you. You're the people of my heart. There you go. Do you feel like you're carrying a disproportionate amount of the load? I'm not sure I can help you with how things are going at home, although I suppose you could try the cake eating method to get others to help more. At the very least, you will have had a very tasty cake and the satisfaction of keeping it all to yourself. So as you may have guessed, my interest is how red hen syndrome plays out at church. We'll come back to that later. First, I want to tell you about the story of the stupidest thing we do. My husband Les and I have spent many years as stagehands in IATSE Local 266. IATSE is the International Alliance of Theatrical and Stage Employees and Motion Picture Technicians, Artists, and Allied Crafts of the United States, its territories, and Canada, which is why we call it IATSE. IATSE is the labor union for theatrical events and a whole bunch more. So one of the places that we've worked as stagehands has been Chautauqua Institution, and we could both regale you with endless stories. But for today, there's really just one that takes us where we need to go, and that is the story of the stupidest thing we do. At Norton Hall, where the operas take place, there is a piano in the orchestra pit. That probably doesn't surprise you. Pianos are an important part of the opera. The orchestra pit is in front of the stage and is about 4 feet below stage level. Actually, it's a little lower than that. And that makes it possible to still see the action on stage when the orchestra is present. The piano in the pit is not a big grand like we have in here. It is a much smaller, but still heavy, upright. It's important to know that although it is somewhat small, it is more than somewhat heavy. Twice each week during the season, the piano is raised from the pit to the stage level for rehearsals, and then lowered from the stage level back to the pit for performances. There is no hydraulic lift, so the piano is lifted by people power, 4 to 6 people to be exact. The lifting is done by crowding a group of strong people around a relatively small but more than relatively heavy piano, lifting it straight up and then onto the stage. That's called a deadlift in our lingo, and I think it means because the people hope they won't die doing it. Twice each week, the stagehands that provide the people power grumble, "This is the stupidest thing we do." Lifting the piano up and lowering the piano down, week after week. And I can't help but wonder if there might be other options. I don't know. Just call something out. If you have a great idea of what else could happen, what could happen? Just leave it in the pit. Use a forklift. Use a what? A pulley, yes. That would be harder with a lever and winch, but it's not impossible. Yes. Use it, keep it on the stage. Use it there. Yeah. Use an electric, oh, now you're really thinking outside the box. I see you. Use a keyboard. How about buy a second piano? You know, so needless to say, there are many options to avoid doing the stupidest thing we do. So you may be wondering why I'm telling you this and what on earth does it have to do with church? Because this sermon is the stupidest thing we do. Every year, in anticipation of the pledge drive, where the church leadership asks members and friends to participate in the spirit of abundance with financial support, I get to stand up front and do a song and dance that will keep me employed for another year. Now, if I didn't believe in the power of this community, this loving community that we have funded together, funded, I didn't even mean to use that as money, but yes, we've done that together too. You know, that song and dance would be kind of awkward. But it's not. Well, a little, just a little. So why is this the stupidest thing we do? Because it's the wrong approach. The intent is absolutely on the mark, but it's the wrong approach. It's like asking a Unitarian Universalist, what do you believe? It's the wrong question. Unitarian Universalism is what we do and how we are in the world, and it's not necessarily about our personal beliefs. It's a great question, what do you believe? Starts a good conversation. But if someone wants to understand Unitarian Universalism, it's the wrong approach. It's not bad. It's just square peg in a round hole or something. So that asking a UU what they believe is really not so different from Norton Hall, where the operas happen, with the stagehands, along with the opera company and maybe all the rest of the musicians standing by and watching a small group of people do the heavy lifting, the little red hens. We have other options. We are creative, passionate people who care deeply about the grand experiment that we call Unitarian Universalism. We just haven't tapped into the power of sacred economics. What's that? I'll tell you in a little bit. First, I want to have a little bit of sacred fun. Excuse me. I'm not changing my clothes. I'm just getting my props. I am going to need 4 volunteers. Just come forward. No, not all at once. Okay, yes, I see you, Marlena. Yes, yes, oh yes, Linda, do it. Oh, okay, 4. This is the power of community, right? Okay. I'm pretty sure I've distributed these not very much the same. I'm going to give each of you a basket. It's not a box. All righty. Boo-boo. Do-do-do-do. Yeah, how about that? Okay, so goodies. So the only way this little game will work and be fun is if everyone participates.
Like putting money in the basket.
No, taking money out. Yes. So these, you'll volunteer all day long. So these wonderful volunteers are going to be moving throughout the seats here, and I would like you to take one $5 bill. No, like, oh, I can't, it's money from church. Just take a $5 bill, okay? I'm pretty sure that amongst, yes, you're in here, yes. Make sure you share, give one to your brother. There you go. In it goes. That's how this game works. All right, go. Make these people abundant. You might want to start in different places. Yeah. Remember, it only works if everyone plays. Only one, Ron. I see you. Sticky little fingers. Look at you playing along. If one of the volunteers, if your basket runs out, another volunteer can help pick it up, okay? It's real. I see you checking. These are real $5. Anyone have one of those little pen things to make sure they're not counterfeit? I'm not that creative. Yeah, I see you, Doug. It's absolutely real. Okay, and I think you got one. I see you too. All right, volunteers, you can bring them back to me, but make sure you take one for yourself. Thank you. You've been very helpful. This is the most fun we've ever had in an offering. Okay, so while these are coming back, I want you to look at your $5 bill. Hopefully your eyesight is better than mine. I know that they have years on them, I just don't see where it is. Okay. All right, yeah, I can't see it. But turn it over, look at both sides. Okay. Now, I want you to sniff it. Yep. Bring it right up to your nose, give it a whiff. Have you ever heard the expression that something or someone smells like money? You will never be able to use that expression again. Money smells funny. Is it the ink? Or maybe the paper? The number of people who've handled it? The hopes and dreams that those people carried? They're germs. Don't think about that too hard, okay? Don't be thinking about the germs. So now I want you to close your eyes and think about what you could do with this $5 bill. A Starbucks? Yeah, so you could stop at a coffee shop and get a little treat on the way home. You could go to Dollar Tree and get 4 things. Okay, so So you could spend it. You could save it. You could put it like in your glove box in your car so that when you are hungry and want to go through the drive-thru and you're like, oh, I have no money. I have $5. That'll get you some things, depending where you go through your drive-thru. You might stop at Tops or Wegmans and get a nice freshly baked loaf of bread. That would smell much better than this funny money. So, or you could give it to the homeless person on the corner with their little cardboard sign. You could give it to the pantry. The beautiful thing is you don't have to tell anybody what you've done with your $5. This really is your $5. It truly is yours. I'll have some suggestions, but it's still yours, and you still have the opportunity to just say thank you and take it, because it's yours. Okay, so now comes the fun. I'd like you to swap $5 with someone around you. Everybody trades with somebody. If you need to get up and move to give it to someone far away, do it. Everybody should have a different $5 bill. Okay, so I wonder how that felt after you had kind of made big plans for your $5 bill to give it to someone else. Thank goodness they gave you one back, I hope. Okay. Now I want you to thoughtfully give your $5 bill away to someone else. They may not trade with you. Eventually, someone will give you a $5 bill. But as you give it away, I would like you to say these words: "This was not mine, but it's mine to give." Ready, get, set, go. Okay, find your way back to your seats. Make sure you have a $5 bill. Okay. Woo, you feel that energy? Isn't that fun? Okay, back to me. All eyes up front. Here we go. All right, so did that feel good? It's kind of fun. It had more meaning than if I had given you Monopoly money, because then that really, that pretend money, there's no investment there. I couldn't have made a big plan about stopping for that warm loaf of bread that smells like heaven. See? Oh. So true confession, the money that you are holding and whatever spare cash is in the baskets, which is not much, which means we have big attendance in the house today, so I'm pretty excited. Because you didn't even know I was giving away money and you came to church. So this money was not mine. I didn't steal it. But it was mine to give. The money you are holding was withdrawn from the minister's discretionary fund, generously donated by others to be used in ways that support beloved community. Because that's how the discretionary fund works. I didn't create or deserve the money, and yet it flows in shared ministry. That $5 that you are holding maybe was part of a remembrance of a loved one, or in honor of a special date, an anniversary, a birthday. Maybe it was a portion of an unexpected windfall. Someone got money in the mail. Who doesn't love that? Or it might have been the last $5 bill in someone's wallet, and they gave it to share. The important thing is that they gave. They entered the sacred flow and gave what was however briefly, theirs to give. So does it make you feel funny now that you know where the money came from? It's like, oh, you just took all the fun out of this, Michelle. Now I feel guilty if I keep it. No, it's yours. That's what the discretionary fund does. It generates flow. So there's no need to feel funny about keeping the money. I should write a song. I'm so good at these spontaneous rhymes. This money was entrusted to my care for the express purpose of giving it away to create more joy and abundance in the world. If a stack of $5 bills can bring more joy and abundance to those of you in this space, that is a huge return on a tiny investment. For those watching online, sorry. All I can say is that this is one of the perks of being here in person. So I'm going to write you an IOU for some joy and abundance. And when you bump into a moment of joy, you'll know that it came from me. You're welcome. So pass it on in the spirit of abundance. So let's get back to the task at hand, sacred economics. Happily, I don't need to say much because you've just experienced the beauty of sacred economics. You've received a gift, and you've practiced giving it away, and you still have something. That is called flow, and it is one of the most important laws of the universe. In his book, Sacred Economics, Money, Gift, and Society in the Age of Transition, Charles Eisenstein notes, it's said that money, or at least the love of it, is the root of all evil. But why should it be? After all, the purpose of money is, at its most basic, simply to facilitate exchange. In other words, to connect human gifts with human needs. What power, what monstrous perversion has turned money into the opposite, an agent of scarcity? Money as an agent of scarcity. So Will Rogers is credited with saying, what's considered enough money? Just a little bit more. And that sounds cute and clever, but let's change a word or two and discover the insidious nature of scarcity. To the anorexic, what is enough weight loss? Just a few pounds more. To the alcoholic, how much is enough? Just one more. To the one gasping for air, what is enough? Just one more puff. Living in a scarcity mindset is fatal for people, and it is fatal for systems. It is detrimental to buildings where maintenance has been put off because there was a perceived scarcity of money, of people power, or imagination. Deepak Chopra has said, the best use of imagination is creativity. The worst use of imagination is anxiety. Anxiety is just scarcity dressed up in her Sunday best. In the Book of Qualities, J. Ruth Gendler writes, anxiety is secretive. He does not trust anyone, not even his friends, worry, terror, doubt, and panic. He likes to visit me late at night when I'm alone and exhausted. He kissed me on the forehead once, and I had a headache for 2 years. We don't need to change our minds about anxiety and scarcity. We need to change our hearts. I cannot logic you into participating in that flow, into giving generously. Anxiety and scarcity will always win that debate. Lack sucks the energy out of the room, whether it is a lack of money, of personnel, of volunteers, or any other necessity. Eisenstein writes, the assumption of scarcity is one of the 2 central axioms of economics. I was a theater major, not an economics major, so I'm just trusting that he knows what he's saying. The second assumption is that people naturally seek to maximize their rational self-interest. Both are false, or more precisely, they are true only within a narrow realm, a realm that we, the frog at the bottom of the well, mistake for the whole of reality. As is so often the case, what we take to be objective truth is actually a projection of our condition onto the objective world. So immersed in scarcity are we that we take it to be the nature of reality, but in fact, we live in a world of abundance. The omnipresent scarcity we experience is an artifact of our money system, of our politics, and of our perceptions. End of quote. This sermon is the stupidest thing we do because it is rooted in scarcity. I'm not blaming anyone. I find myself in that mindset all the time. It scares me that there is a possibility that we won't fund important programs. It saddens me that maintenance on our buildings has been deferred for decades. But here is what I know. If you are here in person or online, it's because this church means something to you. If this gathered community means something to you, then you support it to the best of your ability. And you know that includes your time, your volunteerism, and quite bluntly, your dollars. Either this church means something to you or it doesn't. I cannot, in the course of one sermon, change that. And that's why it's the stupidest thing we do. But like the stagehands lifting a piano, it is necessary for the show to go on. We all need reminders of what is vital to our life, to our well-being. We all need reminders of the importance of being in community and being of service. And this is your reminder that you belong, that you love this community. Maybe you have friends here. Maybe you have history. Maybe you're brand new and excited about possibilities, or nervous because she keeps talking about money. It's my first time. It's okay. Maybe you're worn out and you need some help. Each of us are all of these things. Our stewardship campaign or pledge drive or whatever we choose to call this opportunity for generosity is that time where we turn to you to step up. And it is approaching. This is your warning. Warning. It's coming. And it's not, maybe it shouldn't be a warning. It's your early invitation. I love that. I made that up on the spot. I should be a preacher. It's important that each of us gives to that point that we are able, of our time, of our talents, and of our treasure. So do you remember how it felt to give and receive those $5 bills? That feeling was the opposite of scarcity. That joyful abandon in dreaming of what could be achieved, maybe with that seed money, or spend it right now, or give it away. There was courage and a sense of adventure as the money passed from hand to hand. There is sanitizer, by the way, in the lobby, so you may want that. So for now, I'm going to try not to be a scarcity girl. It is my natural way of being in the world, so that's going to take some effort on my part. But I'm going to try to simply remain in the flow. I'm going to try not to let anxiety and scarcity win the battle for my soul, because all that we touch, we change. All that we change changes us. The only lasting truth is change. So you hold potential. You can put that $5 in your pocket. You can throw it in the basket on the way out. You can multiply it with additions. No matter what you choose to do, they're all valid choices, and I love you with each thing that you choose to do. You have been changed by the experience. If only for this hour, you've had an experience of being in flow, of letting go of anxiety and scarcity, of understanding that it wasn't yours, but it was yours to give. That needs to really be like a billboard, because would that not like fit for so many parts of your life? This is not mine, but it is mine to give. It passes through. We are part of the flow. And so I think this is a good way to practice saying yes when these opportunities arise. So our song and response is Just as Long as I Have Breath. And you're right. We sang it last week. It's not just because I can mostly successfully play it, although I won't lie that that's a piece of what I choose. But I think during a month when we're talking about change, that it is just good practice to keep saying yes, even if it's just in a song that we sing. So I'm going to run to the piano. Les is going to be advancing the slides. I invite you to rise in body or spirit as we sing Just as Long as I Have Breath, number 6 in the gray hymnal. I'll play a small intro.
Just as long as I have breath, I must answer yes to life. Though with pain I made my way, still with hope I meet each day. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to life. Just as long as vision lasts, I must answer yes to truth. In my dream and in my dark, always that elusive spark. If they ask what I did well, tell them I said yes to the truth. Just as long as my heart beats, I must answer yes to life. Disappointment pierced me through, still I kept on loving you. If they ask what I did best, tell them I said yes to love.
You have opportunities to connect. As our service draws to an end, we consider our service in the world. So let me tell you about some of the opportunities to connect and serve in the days to come. First of all, there's information on the back of your order of service. So rather than leaving your order of service on the bench or hiding it in a hymnal, take it with you so you have that information, or you can recycle at the back of the chapel. We are hosting a Thanksgiving dinner. If you are interested in participating in that, there's a clipboard on the glass wall in the lobby. Sign up. Please RSVP today. I need to buy stuff. I am only providing the turkey, so people who come, try to bring things. Otherwise, it'll be a keto diet meal, and we'll have no starches, which is fine. So that's the thing. That's an invitation to connect. It's an invitation to eat food, but the important thing is to connect, to be with friends on Thanksgiving Day. I want to let you know that our friend Betty Howell is in the hospital and needs your good thoughts. No calls or visits right now, but just send her your good thoughts. I have a clipboard. Oh, my life as a clipboard carrier. And it says things, but mostly what it's saying, it doesn't say it on any of the pieces, on any of the lines there, but it says it deep in my heart is, I have never known the minister to be the one who should be out recruiting volunteers. So if you're feeling a calling to be a volunteer coordinator with your very own clipboard, I might add, please see me after the service. And you can also sign up for things. I won't make you the volunteer coordinator if you just came to sign up for a thing. It's still safe. And I always, and it seems redundant at the end of this particular service, but I invite you to participate in giving generously to keep us moving and grooving into the future. Because we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig, and that is as it should be, so long as we dig and plant for those who will come after us. Please rise and body your spirit as we sing our closing blessing, and then remain standing as we extinguish our chalice. Travel light and travel easy, till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. May the road rise up to greet you as you leave your past behind. I will think about you gently, and I'll hold you in my mind. Travel light and travel easy, till I see you once again. Travel light and travel easy, and remember I'm your friend. Before we extinguish our chalice, I want to invite you. We have a very special coffee hour following the service, and I hope you will attend. Please join me as we extinguish our flame. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Go in peace.